Here we go. 25 minutes. Right there. And pass one to Patrick. All right, there you go. All right, so recall from yesterday, some old horse from Friday. Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. Or you can think of your version, I don't care. But I will always think of the horse. La la la. Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. Hey, that's what I'm going to use. Okay? So look at what we're given here. All right, what are we going to circle? We're going to run through this fast. 22 degrees. Circle it. Now we have to label the triangle. What's the side we always label first? Which one is the hypotenuse? X. And then where's the opposite? There we go. That means that 15 has to be the adjacent. All right, so here we go. Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. Which side do we know absolutely nothing about? Mark it out. If I mark it out on the picture, I'm going to mark out the O, oh, I guess we're going to use what? The cosine, correct? We know nothing about, that's because you weren't here. We label the triangle. Have you watched the video from Friday? Okay, you need to go back and do that. Okay, but you need to do that. You need to circle the acute angle. You need to label your triangle. The hypotenuse, the opposite, the adjacent. And then you need to look at what you do not have anything of. You don't have anything of the opposite. So I'll mark it out here. If I mark it out here, I'll mark it out up here. Which means the trig ratio that we have left is the one that we're going to use. Okay? Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. S stands for sine. Opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay? Now, I guess we're going to use cosine of what? Cosine of 22 over 1 always is equal to A and H, which is adjacent is 15. Hypotenuse is X. And now what do? Cross multiply. So watch this. Cosine of 22 times X is equal to 15. Cosine of 22 times X is equal to 15. How do I get X by itself? Divide by cosine of 22. Folks, you've got to use parentheses. When you put this in your calculator, if you don't, it's not going to... Chase, do you mind going to cut that on for me? The calculator. Just with the mouse. I can't do it from up here. If you would, please. Up here. To my knowledge. Okay? Thank you. Calculators always have to be in what mode? Degree mode. So if you go to mode, make sure that the degree is highlighted. Okay? I think it is because I think I used your calculator earlier. Mode, right there. Isn't it in degree mode? Yeah. All right, so here we go. 15 divided by parentheses. Cosine of 22. Close the parentheses. Did you get 16.17? 16.2? All right, so X is approximately 16.2. It says round to the nearest tenth. That's what I did. What do you think? This is easy, okay? Let's go through the next one. You ready? You got to help each other. Folks, this is what I'm talking about. You can't be absent. Because if I have to go over the same thing I went over the day before, then we're taking up time for new stuff. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but that's just the way it is. Okay? In trig, it says the letter of the vertex of the angle is often used to represent the measure of that angle. For example, the sine of angle A is written as sine of A. So, if you have to write the trigonometric ratio, which is just a fraction, as a decimal rounded to the nearest hundredths, sign of j, folks, circle j. With respect to angle j, we're looking at example 2 here. Sine is what? Some old horse, right? Sine is some old horse. I need the opposite and the hypotenuse. Well, where is the hypotenuse in this picture always? 61. Where is the side opposite angle J? 60. So the sine of J is opposite over hypotenuse. Do you guys agree? All right, so I've written the fraction. Now I've got to round this to the nearest hundredth. So get your calculator and go 60 divided by 61, which is approximately, let me look at it again, approximately 9.8. Okay? So that means for this triangle that the sine of angle J is approximately 0.98. Okay? How would I find the cosine of angle J? Cosine is some old horse caught a horse. So I need the what two sides? The adjacent. Where is the adjacent? The 11. So my fraction, my ratio, what is the adjacent side? Over who? You guys cool with that? Do you see what I'm doing? All right, figure out what that decimal is to the nearest hundredths. Shall I get 0.18? Yep. Why, Justin? Why are we doing something different? We got it. Well, we got a different angle. So do I have? What do I have to do? If now we're talking about angle K, now what do I have to do? I got to switch around the sides. I have to relabel my triangle. Does the hypotenuse change? No. It stays the same. Where is the side opposite angle K? The 11 now is the opposite, which makes 60 the adjacent, doesn't it? Some old horse caught a horse, taking oats away. So what's the opposite over the adjacent? And what is that decimal approximation? 0.18? Yeah? Hey, do you notice anything? Oh, we got the same thing, didn't we? That's interesting. Questions? Is this facile or difficile? Facile. It's all right, right? That's the way this is what I think I've told y'all. That's the response I get from my husband on a text. You got that? All right. Really? All right. All right. See it? See, Joseph, that's redneck. All right. He's a cool redneck, though. He is. He really is. Not because I have to say that. He really is. All right, use a special right triangle to write cosine of 30 degrees as a fraction. Say what? What? Use a special right triangle to write cosine of 30 degrees as a fraction. Well, what? Brandon? I know it wasn't. Better never be. That'll jump you out of your seat. That was you. Wow. Cosine of 30. Did y'all hear that? Wow. 30 degrees. Circle the 30-degree angle. Why? Because that's what it's asking for. What? Yes, I'm recording. It's recording all of that. That was... Yes, nobody knows that Lauren pooted. in class, and it landed on Cody. She was lifted out of her seat 5 feet in the air. It was so loud. Oh my God, Lauren, go to the bathroom right now. Gross. Ugh. Here we go. Everybody, somebody said, you know, you've got over 2,000 views on one of your videos? I said, psh, chump change. I got 1 million views on one of the others. Ain't nobody looking at these videos. But y'all will look at this one just to hear what I said. All right, here we go. Cosine, you can't comment. No. Cosine 30. Hey, label your triangle. Cosine of 30. Hypotenuse is always where? Opposite the right angle, correct? All right. With respect to the 30-degree angle, where's the opposite? S. And that means the adjacent is the S root 3, right? Okay. We've got to write cosine of 30 as a fraction. All right. Some old horse caught a horse. So what is the adjacent side? Over the hypotenuse. 2S. Huh. Well, now we got a little something going on here. What's going on? What's this deal with S? What can I do with the S? What if I had this? And I said to simplify it, what would you do? I'd cross out the X. They can reduce, can't they? So cross out the S. And what do you end up with? We end up with the cosine of 30 degrees is equal to root 3 over 2. And folks, from Trig, I'm just telling you because we just got finished doing this about a month ago. The cosine of 30 degrees is root 3 over 2. And in Trig, you have to memorize that. You have to know that. Okay? Did we do what it asked? Did we write our answer as a fraction? Yes. Is it acceptable to have a radical in the numerator? Absolutely, that is fine. It's not fine for the radical to be in the denominator because then we have to rationalize. Are we okay with this? It's kind of something out there in left field a little bit, but it's doable. Circle the angle, label the triangle. Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. Set it up. Do you agree? I don't know. Nope. Here we go. For that question, yes. Well, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter because they're both going to be the same. So I'm going to choose, and that's a good point. That's fine. It still ought to work out. Tangent of 45 degrees as a fraction. Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. So tangent of 45. What's the opposite, y'all? S. Where's the adjacent? The other S. So the tangent of 45, what's the opposite? S over S. S over S. It was an old song. Yeah. How do you reduce this? Something over itself is 1. It's 1. And again, back to Trig. Out of what month, 6 weeks ago, my Trig students were having to learn that. You just developed that from what you know about trig ratios, okay? Pardon me? It is a right isosceles triangle, you're correct. Absolutely. Hey, find the length. Round to the nearest hundredth. What am I going to... Oh, we're finding BC. That's my X. What are you circling? Hey, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to solve this. Go. 2 minutes to solve for X. Go. All right, what's the first side we have to label? The hypotenuse, which is AB, right on? What's the next side? Opposite, which is what, y'all? 10.2. Okay. So I come over here. Some old horse caught a horse taking oats away. Which side do I know nothing about? Mark that out. So mark this out. Oh, okay. I have to use tangent. Tangent of who? 15 over who? Is equal to what? 10.2 over x. How many of you at least have it set up correctly? Excellent, y'all. High five. Very good. Yep.
I didn't put the over 1.
The reason I put the over 1 is because it sets up a proportion. And there, to me, is if you get into this class, you have come through 6th grade solving proportions, 7th grade solving proportions, 8th and 9th grade solving proportions, and then you get to me, and I'm like, oh, I know how to do that. So that's why I always put it over 1, because now I look at it and go, okay, just cross multiply and divide. Okay? Yes. How come what? Because we circled the 15-degree angle, and 10.2 is opposite the angle that I circled. Okay? If you can imagine yourself sitting here in this corner and having to shoot a gun or shoot a bow and arrow, it's going to go here to that opposite side. I circled the 15, right? But this is the angle that is opposite this side. If x would have been the opposite, I would have circled A. Okay? All right? Then, divide by tangent of 15. Do I need to use parentheses? Absolutely, you better. If you don't, you're going to have the wrong answer. Chase, do you mind? Please, sir. On delay, on delay. Let's go. All right, here we go. 10.2 divided by parentheses. Tangent of 15. And notice that I put parentheses around the whole tangent thing. Did you get approximately 38.1? Yeah? Let's fix it. All right, so 38.07. How many of you had that? Hands? Very, very good. Do you have questions? Yeah, do you see how we do the same thing over and over again? We do the same thing. Here's what you're going to do. Do not round until the final step of your answer. Use the values of the trig ratios provided by your calculator. Meaning, put all this stuff in the calculator and be a parentheses ninja. If you try to round at any point except for the end, you're not going to get the right answer. Period. There's no other way around that. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to do example 8 and example 9 right now. You're not going to pack up. You're going to do these 2 problems while you're sitting in here while we're waiting for announcements. And then you are going to do 22 through 24, 31 through 33, 37 through 43, 49 and 50 for homework. Have fun.